Welcome back to Life with Meg and Jenn, the space where we talk about love, identity in Christ, faith, friendships, and everything in between. I'm Jenn, and today I'm wrapping up the series by sharing a story I never expected to live out, opening my dance studio. It was never on my radar, but God was preparing me all along. So grab a coffee and let's talk about trusting God through every season, the expected, the unexpected, and the in-between.
Here we are. Hey guys! Hi. Welcome back to Life with Meg and Jenn. I think we're wrapping it up. I think we're wrapping up our series on dreams and visions, just living those God-sized dreams, walking them out, having vision for your life, all those things. Megan shared her story last week. So I guess I'm going to share mine. There's a lot to mine. So, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
There really is. I mean, especially because I'm on the far side of it, really. So I can look back and see a lot, a lot further. So, just so you know, I have taken dance since I was 3 years old. That's when I started. I've always loved dance. I was a gymnast for a long time too.
Me too.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because gymnastics came very easy to me. I did not have to work at it. I had to work at dance. So, and I am a doer and a worker. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there was, when there was a challenge there, and I loved it, fell in love with it. By the time I graduated high school, I was having my second knee surgery.
Wow.
And so the plan had been to go to college and dance, but instead I took a gap year so that I could have the second knee surgery, work on rehab, just
Build it back.
Yeah. Still tried to dance and things like that. But really, there was not a lot of comeback from that. I was already starting to develop arthritis in my knee. Stairs were hard. Just a lot. There was a lot. So you put dance down because, what do you do? And fast forward 6 years, I'm married and have 2 kids. My youngest is, dancing. And then we moved to Burnet, to the hill country. And yes, there's a reason I'm telling you this whole long story, okay? But we moved there, and we're there for a year, and eventually, we lived on the lake, and Burnet is like a retirement community. So in my head, this was a lot of old people, and I did not care to meet my neighbors because
You're so friendly.
yes, and hi and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was going to be anything for
Connection,
me.
yeah,
No
yeah.
connection. We were trying to find a church. I mean, like, I could again talk forever about just that season alone, but eventually God brought this woman into my life, who became a spiritual mother to me. She was a dancer. She was been a professional ballerina. She had owned her own studios for for decades. Owned one in Virginia, owned one in Florida. Like, it just an amazing, amazing woman. So her grandkids were the same age as my kids, and that's really how we kind of met. Started going to church where they went to church, fell in love with the church, so we would do kids' church together. Our hearts were bonded and very close, and that gave me like a mama there even, and she would watch my kids because my mom was 4 hours away, just different things like that. So anyway, there was a women's conference coming up, and they had asked her to dance at the conference. And so she said, I'm gonna need you to do this with me. And I was like, I don't dance anymore. Like she was like, you'll be fine. That kind of just like, you're not
confident.
Yeah, you're not telling her no, you're doing it. I was like, okay. So, we spent a week or so learning, the dance, and I'm telling y'all, I could still cry. Just what God did in my life in that week of stepping back into dance, but stepping back into it in a place of worship, which I had never done before. And all that he taught me in just that short amount of time still blows my mind.
Yeah.
And so I started training with her. Like, we were dancing and doing stuff, and then a new like an arts center was opening, and they had asked her to come and be the dance director. And she said, only if Jennifer comes and does this with me. And I was all yes, like getting my girls back in dance. It was, there was so much life in it. It was so good. It was so rewarding to teach, and I was learning at the same time. Like, again, this was a professional ballerina that I was getting to watch her teach little kids, so I was learning even more as an adult than what I had learned as a little kid. Like, it was just, anyway. So we were there for a year, and then we moved back home. And then I started teaching, and with the person I had grown up taking classes from. Most of the time I was just behind the desk, which was fine. I had 3 little kids by then, and whatever. Fast forward 4 years, and I will tell you this also, my knee never gave me any more trouble. Never hurt.
Well, you stepped out in faith.
Yes, and it was just such a that still blows my mind. In the next 4 years, I found out about a dance convention called Dance Revolution. It's all faith-based, so the studio I was working for was not, but I went to Dance Revolution, then I took my kids. There just became this very black and white thing. Now, and I will still tell people this, dancers this, if all you have in your city is a secular dance studio, go. Learn your craft. God can change it later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if that's all that's available to you, go and learn your craft. But I was at another dance convention, not Dance Revolution, and there were just some things that happened that I was just, it was not good, and then I was, there's a ministry that started here called Girls of Grace that I was part of. And so my brain, like you were saying, you were having this conflict.
Yep.
I started having that same kind of conflict. Like, how do I stand on a stage and preach Jesus, but move like that?
Yeah.
Or play that song, really? Because, we're from a small town. People don't dance just incredibly provocatively here like they, like you see on TV and stuff with little kids. But the music sometimes is
like there.
Ma'am, So, situation happened, and I was fired, and it was traumatic and dramatic, and really, I want to honor the person.
Yeah.
And for everything she poured into my life. And I do love her, but it was it was hard. And I drove away crying, bawling. But I remember saying to God, I am not going to count this as a loss. I am not. Like, I know you have good for me. I know that a line has been drawn in the sand. And I know you are calling me to something. But again, if you've listened to all the other episodes, when my granddaddy used to ask me, what are you going to do with dance? And I just danced because I loved it. And I would say, well, I can tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to own a dance studio, and I'm not going to teach little kids.
And the Lord laughed.
He said, well, watch what happens.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah. So, even when I was let go, when I was fired, what really hurt was, especially with my oldest, dance was it was in her bones. It was in her spirit. I mean, it was just part of her DNA. And that was taken away from them. All three of my daughters, even the youngest, who started going to the studio with me when she was 3 weeks old, that was ripped from them as well. And so that was one of the things that I had to really be like, God, this is not a loss. There's a reason, there's a purpose. The enemy does not win. That was in October of 2005. A few weeks later, we found out that my grandmother had cancer for the second time, and that she wasn't going to be seeking treatment. So my kids were also in a new school, and we had just moved into a new home. I mean, my world was a little bit crazy.
Right.
And so we didn't have dance. We didn't have, it was just like we had to really find each other in that, and find God in that and walk it out. And I did not, my kids were 5th grade, 2nd grade, and 4 years old, 3 years old, something in there. I did not shield them from it. They knew what had happened and what was going on, and we just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
They knew what was going on with their grandmother. We just had to deal with it. But it also, because I was at home, my mom had the time to, instead of watching my kids for me while I was at the studio, she was with her mother, getting to be with her in those last days.
Yeah.
And then it was in 2006, so I think it was early March, maybe. She would have it written down. My mom writes everything down. She was the one who was like, Jennifer, what do you think about? And it was just, for some reason, it was not really in my brain, but as soon as she said it, I knew in my spirit, yes, okay, it's time. But also in my brain, I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No clue.
But we're doing.
Yeah. And where am I going to get the money for that? Like that's not there.
Yeah.
But anyway, my grandmother passed away in March of 2006. In April of 2006, I had the whole plan of the studio written out. I mean, because my thing was, and I kept saying, well, if I do it, I don't want to do it this way, which meant I had to figure out what that looked like another way, like how does God want to do the end of year show? I didn't want to do a recital. Like there was so many little things that were, finally had it figured out. I went to the bank, scared out of my mind because I've never had to do that before. I was 31, I think. Still felt like a 19-year-old or something going in there. Y'all, they gave me 100% financing to build a brand new studio. Yep. Who does that?
The Lord.
Yes, that's it. I mean, so, and then I handed the plans to my cousin and said, I need this done by the end of August. He said, all right, let's do it.
Wow.
We opened in September, and my thing was, if I just had 50 kids, I could do it. I'm not a numbers person either, but my mom is, and we went over it. And, it was great. It gave my granddaddy something to look at and, dream with me a little bit, share it. And September, we opened. So September 2006, we opened. I had 120 students. And the day we opened, we started adding on to the building.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was like we got in there and went, there's not enough room. We need more room. And so by the January of 2007, we opened up they had finished the rest of it. And
I remember taking my kids to your dance studio and thinking, when is she going to have a 2-story?
Yeah, I know, because there was, at one point, we had 260 something kids.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
But it was just getting to teach and to love on them. But the really big thing was, and I'm not saying this as in a me thing, because listen, the first year we had a show, I wouldn't even hold the microphone. I made somebody else go out there and say, welcome. I dance, I don't speak. Like, that's not, So, and eventually he called me to start speaking, with the dances and different things. They were always a production, a story that pointed to Jesus.
Yep.
And so I have had a church service with over 1,500 people at it.
Wow.
And that was the thing, was that was a church service.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. When he called me to lay it down, I had to go back to, here was the heart of the studio. It was to preach the gospel. It was to share about worship and movement. Being creative in how he's called us to be that.
Yep.
Taking big risks and jumping in with both feet.
Yep. Absolutely. So good.
That was it. That was my story.
I love it. So you had your studio for how long?
17 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Sorry, y'all. I have to edit that a little bit. Yeah. So, 17 years. Laid it down and just kind of waiting to see what's next. Yeah.
You have a burning of something? You don't have to tell us what it is. I'm just wondering.
Yes and no. Because it's kind of an uncomfortable, not uncomfortable, like, yes and no. God's calling me to do, like, social media stuff. That's very uncomfortable to me. I don't thrive in it. I feel very, it's just uncomfortable.
It's growth.
And
Growth is uncomfortable.
and
You're growing.
I really feel like that's what he's asking me to do right now. So again, I know he's growing little areas with me, little steps. So I don't know what's next. My hands are just kind of open right now of like, okay, do still have the building. So many of you are looking for real estate. But like I'm open to what's next with the building too. Like,
Yeah.
is it for me or is it for someone else or,
Right. Yep.
anyway. Yeah. So
Love it.
sometimes that's where the vision goes too. Like the dreams kind of,
Sometimes
they change.
yeah. Sometimes they go to other people. You know.
Yeah.
My grandmother had her own dress shop, so I grew up under a clothes rack.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I know.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that though when the Lord told me to open it. Never, until I opened it, I was like, wait. There were years that I spent in my granny's shop. But anyways, I was also grew up very limited funds. There was 5 of us kids, so as far as fashion and clothes, it was very limited. I did a lot with a little.
Yeah.
And that was always the plan, the goal for me. Like in high school, I had everything I owned was resale or garage sale or hand-me-down. But no one would have ever known, because of the way I styled it or wore it or whatever. But anyway, so to know that and to see where I am today, it's like you would know that it's just the Lord.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Always.
Yeah.
I still remember, I don't know, we're going way past what we normally go, but we're going to keep going. I still remember because of, I knew what was being said in the atmosphere about, like, I knew what people were saying about me. And those words were out in the atmosphere. And there's power in words, good and bad. I still remember walking down my driveway saying, I am the head and not the tail. I am the head and not the tail. I am the head and not the tail. God, you've called me to do this. This is your studio. This is your dream. I'm just walking into it. I'm partnering with you. I am the head and not the tail. Because I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I knew it was time to start running.
Yeah.
And,
Same.
like, we're going to do this. Let's go. And he's so faithful.
Yeah. And he equips.
Yes. Equips the called, does not call the equipped.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Yes.
So
I think a lot of times he does that too because it will be easier to glorify him. It will be easier to see him and not us in it, so.
Totally.
So cool.
It is. Good stories.
I know. I love it.
God's given us good stories.
Yes.
And he's
we're
not
blessed.
done.
I know. That's the exciting part.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for where I am, but I'm so thankful and grateful that he's not done with us.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Bye.
Thanks for spending this time with me and Megan today. If you're in your own in-between season, I want you to know God is still writing your story, and he's already ahead of you, preparing the way. The studio was one chapter for me, and now I'm learning to dream again. Maybe you are too. Stick around because in the next few episodes, Meg and I will be sharing some of our favorite books, what we're walking through right now, and what God is showing us along the way. Until then, keep dreaming with him. The best is still ahead. And be sure you like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.